All right, welcome.
Hello, Michelle. Hello, Carrie. Hello, Valerie and Farah. Hello, Sheena and Demond.
Ho, Triple C. What's up?
What's up, Mark? Tanya?
Tanya's in the house.
What's up, Kyle?
What's up? How are you guys?
Great. Thank you for joining.
Pleasure.
All right, Jenna, one more minute. I'm gonna let you kick us off. How many people do we have so far joining us?
Looks like we have 28 so far.
Oh, wow. I'm like sharing my screen. I can't see all of you, so hi. That's wonderful.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Job Search Like a Recruiter. Thank you all so much for coming. We have a lot of great stuff to cover with you tonight. So now that we are all a part of each other's community, we're all here to support each other in finding our next opportunity, excelling in our next career transition, or maybe leveling up in our career. So feel free to share in the chat your name and pronouns, where you're joining from, what job or opportunity or role you're looking for, and then a quirk. So something that's uniquely weird or different about you. So I'll introduce myself first, so you can get to know me a little better, and we'll be watching in the chat so we can all get to know each other, and we can get to know you better in the chat as well. My name is Jenna. My pronouns are she, her. I am joining from Detroit, Michigan. I am a cloud developer advocate with IBM. And a quirk, so something that's unique to me. I have an obsession with tuna salads and tuna melts. I order them on the menu wherever they are, and I judge an entire restaurant and all of the food that they have to serve there based on how well they do their tuna melts. I moved from Detroit in 2017 to San Francisco to attend Dev Bootcamp, which is a coding boot camp. I got really involved in hackathons and workshops while I was out there. And then I joined IBM through their Tech Reentry Apprenticeship program. So I'm coming up on 3 years at IBM now. I came in on a cloud engineering team, and I've recently transitioned over into developer advocacy. So it's all so great to meet all of you. Hey, Matt, what's up? Always good to see designers in here, and all different areas, all different positions inside and outside of tech. So it's great to meet all of you. I'm going to hand things over to Anthony, and he's going to take you on our journey this evening.
Thank you, Jenna. My name's Anthony Holloway. I'm head of talent at Wobot Health, but at my core, I'm a recruiter, coach, and entrepreneur. And one of my personal missions and why Jenna and I are such good friends is because we share this mission, but we really want to help inspire and transform, millions of people around the world through kind of what we learned, making mistakes in our own career and helping others. And I'm calling in from Oakland, California, and my quirk, if you can see my camera, is that I can juggle, and I learned how to do it last year. So I got some skills that you might not be able to Google. So why are we here tonight? I want to talk about how to win your dream job without applying online by job searching right like a recruiter. So I would say get your pen and pad out. It's a lot of information to cover, a lot of gems that I hope to impart on you. and I'll be going at a pretty high tempo. So try to keep questions towards the end. You can share them in the chat. Jenna will facilitate that, but we're going to do a batch Q&A towards the end of this. Agenda, lay of the land tonight. We're going to talk about the mistake that 90% of candidates make on their job search and how to avoid it, how to be 20 times more likely to land your job, how top performers ace interviews and secure multiple bags, and an opportunity to level up with some bonuses and resources that we're going to share for you today if you stay towards the end. My goal is to get you in and out of here in 60 minutes. I know some people are joining from different parts of the world. I'm in California, some people are on the East Coast, so I want to be really mindful and respectful of your time. With that said, let's kick it off. So why do I do this work? Well, it's really because of my mom. She's been my biggest cheerleader, and as you can see here, has always had my back. One of my big motivations in life, but I'm also the oldest of three. And for my brother and sister, I do this work to kind of show them, okay, this is what's possible. And this is how you can change the world in your own right. So a little bit about my story. I went to Rutgers, Newark, Brick City. I know Damon's on the call. He's also a colleague of mine. But I had a civil engineering major and changed it to math. And my parents were like, oh no, what are you doing? Why are you switching your major? But it ended up working out. I was with my grandmother's here in this picture. I got a degree in math and I didn't want to be a math teacher. So I did the next best thing. I got a job in a bank and I got to wear a suit and have a briefcase. I had a little bit of money in my pocket. I wasn't totally broke. I wasn't eating ramen every night. But from the hours of 9 to 5, I kind of felt like this. Type yes into the chat if you've ever had a job where 1 hour seems like 5 hours and you're just watching the clock waiting to clock out. That was banking for me. But in 2015, I joined Starting Block. Just imagine if you got 100 people in one room for 5 days to talk about building socially impactful businesses. That's Starting Block. And then after, you have this community of people. So I got to speak, I got to travel, I gained and got a lot of friends and community. And in 2016, the year after, I met Cameron Clouchy here on the left. And she gave me an opportunity. She gave me, whoops, a little too fast. Skipped ahead, but she gave me an opportunity for an interview as a career coach at Dev Bootcamp. I made it all the way to the end of the interview process. And as you can see, because I skipped ahead, they wasn't a fan of your boy. They let me go. But I followed up with everybody on the interview panel, was like, I appreciate your time, would love to stay in touch. And I kind of felt like this on the inside. Type yes into the chat if you felt that way. You get that rejection or an automated email and on the inside, you're burning up, but on the outside, you're just kind of masking your emotions. But then in a couple of weeks, I got a call back to say someone left the job and that they would still be interested in me. So my mind was blown. And what ended up happening was I got an opportunity to interview for the job again at Dev Bootcamp, and I got it. So I went from getting rejected to getting the job and Millie rocking my way 3,000 miles away to Oakland, California from Newark, New Jersey. So in the last 3 years, I've had 3 career transitions, and this is why I think I'm in a position to help you. One of those was Dev Bootcamp, which I just told you about. Got to go to amazing places. This is actually me with Max, one of the technical instructors. Got to really build a dope team and work with great people. But 9 months in, the company shut down. And I kind of felt like this. I had the tight Kevin Hart face. I was heated because I loved the job. I moved 3,000 miles away from my family for the job, and then the company shuts down. A couple of months later, I ended up going to Outco, where they train software engineers, and I got to do the same thing, work with an amazing group of people. I'm a really big fan of smaller companies because of how much you get to learn and grow. And on March 8th, 2019, it happened to me again. Wasn't working out with the founders. And they wanted to go into a different direction in terms of their partnerships and their business model. So I ended up leaving. And I love this quote, which sums it up, which is everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. And I've been punched in the mouth a few times in the past few years, which is why I think I can help you. So within the first couple of weeks, I got my interview, a few interviews after that job. In only 21 days, I got another job offer. And on top of that, to make it the deal even sweeter, I got a $30,000 raise. No, it wasn't all unicorns and rainbows. I had several rejections. I had to negotiate my role, and I had to secure a lot of referrals and be proactive and be disciplined on my approach. And I talk about it in my 21 day job opportunity story, which you can read and I'll share with you afterwards. But for you, what's in it for you? You know, I'm taking some of your evening today. So what I'm promised is that I'm going to show you the mistake that 90% of candidates make. We're going to also go through a step-by-step process on how to 20x your chances of getting hired, and also talk about interviewing and actually securing the bag and doing it in 90 days or less. But there's a little bit more. If you stay to the very end, I'm also going to give you an opportunity to get 30 minutes of career coaching and tailored resume advice with me. You're also going to get the 3-step dream job roadmap, which is exactly what I use to get that job in 21 days. And I'll also offer you free of charge, if you stay to the very end and opt in, an opportunity to get some salary negotiation advice when you do secure the bag. So I want to share Brianna's story for a minute, because again, I don't want to sit up here and act as if this is unique to me. It's a system, and she's a testament to it. So let's hear from her for a minute.
So I transitioned into software engineering about 2 years ago. Before that, I was working in Japan in games localization. So I came to San Francisco with basically no friends, no connections, no CS degrees, hardly any relevant experience on my resume, with this idea that I wanted to become a software engineer. I had no concept of negotiating salaries. I thought that I should just be grateful for whatever I got, basically, and I didn't want to come off as greedy to a new employer. With your help, you kind of coached me through it, but I was able to negotiate a $10,000 signing bonus for my new position. So obviously, really excited about that.
I share that with you, not to impress you, but to impress upon you. There's a system and there's a step-by-step process to getting some of these results. So for the next 45 minutes, I work for you. I'm going to be going a little quick. It's a lot of information, but all of this is things that Brianna has applied, Jenna has applied, I myself have applied, and they can help you as well. So part one, the mistake that 90% of candidates make. They don't apply to jobs in the exact same way that companies fill jobs. 80% of open jobs aren't even listed online, yet most people only are applying online. Lou Adler, who's a 30-year veteran in recruiting, he talks about it and blogs about it, has the data. PayScale, which is a great website you can use to find data on average salaries. They have a podcast and they talk about this as well. But again, 80% of candidates or 80% of jobs aren't online, yet 70 to 80% of candidates aren't networking and are just opting out for what's easier, which is applying online. So as a recruiter, I'm going to tell you, these are the 4 steps in terms of how companies fill jobs. Oftentimes what they'll do is they'll look internally. They'll say, who can we promote? That's probably the quickest way to fill this role. So there's people internally trying to shoot their shot. But step 2, they look at their referrals. Who do they know in their personal network? Who do their employees know, right? Cultivated culture, Alton Belsack, he wrote a great blog post, and I took this screenshot from it because it shows, hey, 40% of hires are made through referrals. Yet 70 to 80% of candidates are applying online and on the website. So I would also check out his content. He has a great podcast as well, great blog article, and a great mentor and friend of mine. Also wrote a great blog post on how some of these strategies apply with respect to COVID-19 and what happened last year. So step 3 is resume search. Then they start going on LinkedIn and Indeed and other places and really trying to look for resumes. But even then, they're only spending 6 to 10 seconds on a resume, right? And then the very final step, when those kind of other steps are exhausted, then they post online and say, hey, y'all, we hiring, right? So you have to ask yourself, do you want to be in the public market where everybody is fighting for attention and applying online? Or do you want to dance to the money bank in the hidden market? I don't know about you, but type yes into the chat if you want to be Carlton, just negotiating your way to a raise. Focus on the hidden job market and you can get it twice as fast, right? In the public market, they're only looking at you on paper. They're only looking at your skills and experience. But if you can get a referral through the hidden market, Then they're looking at your past performance more delicately. They're looking at your potential, and they trust you a little bit more because you came from a trusted source or referral. So when I came from that boot camp, my resume had a cheeseburger on it. Like, this is a terrible resume. I don't know what I was doing. But again, I thought it was a quirky audience. I thought they might appreciate it. And I had a really great referral. So again, by the data, 1 in 250 applications online makes a hire, but 1 in 4 referrals makes a hire. And I'm not going to make you do math tonight because you already gave me some of your time. But again, you're 20 times more likely to get hired with the referral. So you might be saying, Anthony, this is great and all, but how? Well, that's part 2. Part 2 is, how do you actually do this, and how can you do it in 90 days or less? Job search like a recruiter. It's why we're here. So in order to do that, you got to first understand, how do recruiters recruit? So what I'm about to show you is screenshots from people that I've actually interviewed, exactly what I said to them and exactly how I got them on the phone. Heidi, I was looking for a machine learning engineer, and I said, hey, I'm impressed with your background. Love that you're focused on ML, especially in healthcare, because my company's focused on healthcare. I want to have a long-term discussion about your career goals. Can we talk? Heidi accepted my request, and I said, hey, I know your time is valuable, right? Can we talk next week? Here's a link to book some time with me. Within 24 hours, Heidi booked time with me. Mariah, the same thing. I'm impressed with your work. I especially like that you've traveled to Africa, Europe, South America, and have this vast, diverse experience. Within 24 hours, Mariah booked a call with me. Desmond, I said, hey, we have a mutual connection. Again, I have a referral. I have a person that knows you. I respect their work, so I respect you. Can we talk? I'm hiring engineers. He said, I'm not looking. He said no, but the no turned into a favor. I said, hey, do you at least know anybody? He said, of course, I'll share it on my internal job board. So the way that you can do this is what I call reverse recruiting. And it allows you to land a referral in only 14 days. But again, I'm a very purpose-driven person. That's a tongue twister. So why does this work? Let's start with purpose. It saves companies time, and it saves companies money when they can get referrals. Companies will often pay their employees a referral bonus. Not only that, referral bonuses can go from anywhere from $250 to $2,000 and even $25,000, depending on if it's an executive position. So if you want to land a referral in 14 days or less, you need to focus on your first, second, and third degree connections. First degree are people you know, people you can trust, people who can vouch for you. Some of these people you can text right now. And on March 8th, when I had the tight face and I left Outco and I didn't know what the heck I was going to do, and I was down on my luck and depressed and feeling sorry for myself, I said, what companies really align with my growth and my personal mission? And BetterUp was one of those companies. When I did some research, they have a mobile coaching platform. I'm a natural coach. It resonated with me. So I said, what first degree connections do I have at BetterUp? On LinkedIn, you can easily filter and find this information out. I saw that I had Angela, but I also saw I had Maulum, and he was a stronger first degree connection because he was actually working in recruiting. Again, on March 8th, I left Outco. On March 12th, I wasted no time and contacted Maulum and said, hey, brother, I heard y'all hiring. What's up? Within a little over a week, he actually introduced me to Kat, and Kat was their recruiter in charge of managing that role. And again, in less than 14 days, I had an interview with Kat. You want to focus also on your second degree people. These are people you're mutually connected with, people you know, or people who know your first degree connections, right? And what you can do is ask your first degree connections for introductions to these people, right? You can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. And when you speak to the second degree connections, you can also mention your first degree connection with them. Hey, Damon, I know Jeff. Because I know Jeff, I respect your work, and I wanted to talk to you about an opportunity you have, right? And what happens is, if you're disciplined and you're consistent, and you ask enough, you often create your own luck. So third degree people are people you don't know. These are what's called in the sales industry, cold leads. So you want to be aligned. I'll give an example of Gloria. She was a data analyst. Before I even posted the data analyst job, she actually reached out to me. So her timing couldn't have been perfect. And she actually had the experience I was looking for. So who do you think was the first person I interviewed? Gloria. The next thing is you want to be persistent. Remember Maulum that I spoke about? Well, in 2017, that was when I first met Maulum. And I said, hey, Maulum, I'm working at Dev Bootcamp. I see you're hiring. You know, can we talk? Can we have some coffee? I think I can help you out. Maulum said, hey, man, thanks, but no thanks. I'm happy to stay connected. But I guess it's my East Coast energy, because I was like, listen, we need to stay connected. Thank you for being transparent and honest, but can we at least have some coffee? I did my research. I see you're also in downtown San Francisco. Let's talk. Type yes into the chat if you would reply positively to this. And type no into the chat if you wouldn't. What do people think Maulum said to this? Do we have some responses, Jenna? Does anybody, we got some yeses? Do we have some nos?
We got some yes, sure, yes, later for you.
Got it. Persistence is key. I've sent you a calendar invite for coffee. So not only did he accept the meeting, he booked it on our calendars. Again, you're not being, I know a lot of candidates feel like, oh, am I annoying? Am I being a nuisance? No, you're just being persistent. And again, you don't have to be spammy, just be honest. And I'm gonna give you some tactics to do that. Because you're also probably thinking, Anthony, these are great examples. This is great data, but how do I apply this in my life? Well, it's the 4-step reverse recruiting formula. First, you wanna establish your calendar. Think about when you go to a restaurant. You ever go to a restaurant and there's like 35 items on the menu and you just can't choose? It's the same thing when you're trying to get someone's time. You ever go, you know, hey, does this time work? Oh, does this time work? And then you're going back and forth and the meeting never gets scheduled. You need a tool. Use something like Calendly. It's a free software. There's others out there. I prefer this one. But lay out the red carpet for them. And what this allows you to do is also control your time and also only give them times that work for you. This is extremely convenient. And why does it work? Well, it saves them time and it's brownie points because they don't have to go back and forth with you trying to get a calendar time. Next, you need to make your list. So remember we talked about those first, second, and third degree connections. You can go into LinkedIn. You can type the title that you're interested in. And again, you can filter by, okay, who are my first, second, and third degree connections that might have that title? This is an example of what that search query would yield. You can also filter for geographic region and also like industry. But again, first, second, third degree connections are what you want to prioritize. The first degree are the people that you know, people that you can get a hold very quickly. You trust them, they trust you. Second degree people are mutually connected to your first degree connections. And third degree people are the people that you don't know. So you might be asking yourself, who are the people I reach out to if I'm going to be in these companies? Well, you want to prioritize hiring managers, recruiters, and teammates. Hiring managers often have the title, the word manager in their title, but they're often the person that's in charge of the role, right? So if you're looking to be an engineer, maybe you need to reach out to the CTO or an engineering manager, right? Recruiters often have talent or recruiter in their title. And teammates often are going to have the same title as the role that you're looking for. Number 3 is now you actually want to contact them on social. And the framework you want to use is first acknowledge them as a human, right? Don't acknowledge them by saying what you want. Acknowledge them and who they are. Then say why you want to speak to them. And then add a clear call to action. And again, include your calendar so it's easy for them to say yes. Now, these are the templates that I've used with Jenna and others to accomplish all of this success. They're exactly what I said, and they apply with the first degree, the second degree, and the third degree. And then I also created a column here so you can start listing who those people are. And again, because I appreciate you, if you stay to the very end, I'm gonna give you all of this for free. I'm also gonna give you the Job Search Toolkit. This is a curated, hand-selected list of resources that Jenna and I have put together over the years that represent a lot of the resources that have helped if you want to land a referral in 14 days, the fourth step is prioritize volume and consistency. So many candidates fail at this fourth step because they'll say, hey, Anthony, I contacted 10 people and nobody got back to me. And my reply is always, you need to be contacting 50 to 100 people per week. Now, I'm gonna pause there because a lot of folks may think that's a lot of people, but type yes into the chat if you've liked 5 to 10 posts a day on social media. If you can like 10 posts a day, you can reach out to 10 people a day to further your career and your professional development. It comes down to the sales funnel. And what a sales funnel means is that the more people that you speak to up here, the greater likelihood that down here, these people will turn into interviews and job offers. So if all you did was use LinkedIn, email, and Twitter and no other social platforms, contacted 50 to 100 people per week, that would yield 2 to 3 referrals if you did it consistently week over week and filled your pipeline up, you could get to 1 to 2 offers in 90 days or less. Again, I realize that there's a mental component. A lot of us face imposter syndrome and feel like we might not be able to do this, but those are the numbers. The numbers don't lie. And again, the numbers are attributable to my experience, Jenna experience, Brianna, and hundreds of others that we've actually helped. You just got to ask yourself the question, you want to play in the public market or you want to dance into the hidden market? Type yes if you want to be in the hidden market, because if you're still on the call, I think you do. Lastly, you also want to follow recruiters. Follow people like myself. Follow people with titles like recruiter talent because they post jobs. Also, be proactive and shoot your shot. Jessica Bain in 2018, I love her story because she reached out to Spotify and said, hey, I heard y'all hiring. What's up? And instead of applying with a resume and a cover letter, she applied with a playlist that represented Black culture and what she had to bring to the table. And she got that job. But again, she wasn't applying online and crossing her legs and waiting around. So you might be saying, Anthony, this is great, but what do I say when I get people on the phone or schedule an interview with them? Well, Nathan Perez wrote a great book, which is the 20-minute networking meeting. And what he shared was really ask thought-provoking questions, gather intel. You want to get referrals. And above all else, you want to offer reciprocity. Don't make it about you. You want to say, hey, in exchange for some of your time, how can I help you? And if you do this consistently over years and years and years, you build a lot of social capital. And when you got to make a job transition, you can just hit somebody on a text and you don't even have to apply online. So some of those questions are like, what does success look like in this role? What's your team's biggest challenge? How can I help you? Don't make it about you. A mentor once told me, if you ask for advice, you can get a job. If you ask for a job, you're going to get advice. So ask for advice and also in return, offer value to other people. And this can help you land a referral in 14 days. So that's reverse recruiting in a box. You really got to speak to real people, apply online as little as possible. And in every conversation, try to add value and use something like Calendly to make it easy for people to say yes and give you some of their valuable time. You might also be saying, Anthony, this is great and all, but I got a full-time job. I don't have time for this. Well, even if you only had 5 hours a week, which is 1 hour a day, split your time up like this. 60% of it should be reverse recruiting and using these tactics I just showed you. Another 20% should be content marketing. So you should be, publishing, your thoughts on your niche in LinkedIn, on Twitter. Follow people that have the job you want. Comment on their posts. Share their posts. Shout out to Damon, man. This is a guy who always comments on my posts, always shares my content. And in return, I do the same for him. Excuse me. And then that last 10 to 20%, you want to start applying online because you can get hired there, but the probability is just very, very low. Part 3, we're coming to a close. But before we close out here, it's really about how do top performers ace interviews? Because if you're doing all of this, you're reverse recruiting, you're speaking to people, you're starting to get interviews, but now you actually got to get the job. So how does that work? Well, it starts with your big domino. And Lauryn Hill said it best. How you gonna win if you ain't right within? You got to get your internal house in order before you go out and start just randomly applying, as they call spray and pray, just applying to everything and everything. So I had to get my internal house in order to land a job in 21 days. So many candidates don't define a clear target, and oftentimes they can feel like you're broken and there's something wrong with you, when in actuality you just didn't take enough time to really define, okay, what do I want and what's my worth and what do I value? So here's 4 simple steps. Again, this is how I did this personally. It's what's worked for me, and it's what's worked for folks like Jenna and Brianna and others that I've helped. You want to prioritize first things first. Isn't money? Just be real. What's that walkaway number? What's the least amount of money that you'll take, and what's the top of what you're hoping to make? Maybe it's learning and development. Maybe you're saying, hey, Anthony, I'm willing to take a salary cut in order to be able to learn and grow the way I want to. Whatever it is, define that for yourself and rank those in priority. That way, when you're applying to jobs and when recruiters might approach you for jobs, you have a system and a filtering mechanism where now you can make quicker decisions. And when you're getting opportunities, you're not stressed about them because you have an internal compass and you've done the internal work. Now, this doesn't take 15 minutes to do. It might take an hour or two, but it's all worth the time. Next, you want to define your target, right? Because you can't hit what you can't see. Michael Hyatt has a great quote, which is when you get clear on what your what is, the how starts to show up. An example in my personal life is that I wanted to create a blog, and I really just wanted something I could be proud of, and I wanted to improve my writing skills. And in addition to setting that goal, that target, I said I need to commit to, posting every week. That'll allow me to actually honor my commitment, right? And what happened was, to this day, I haven't published since last year actually, but I'm still proud of the work that I've done. I accomplished my goal. But all these residual things started to happen. Somebody reached out to me because instead of putting my resume out, I'm actually putting my work out. As they say, I'm showing them the receipts. Someone reached out to me and said, hey, I love your work. I would love to invite you to this conference, free. And I also had a blog post go mini viral, which I never had any type of social media, get that type of engagement. So again, this affirmed me, but I couldn't accomplish this without actually setting a target and committing to it. The how gets clear once you get clear on the what, the how starts to show up. So your mission, you got to really, what I did when Dev Bootcamp shut down, a question that I asked myself that really helped me was, not what do I want to do next? I said, how do I want to grow next? And Tony Robbins has a saying, he said, ask a better question, get a better answer. And that's what happened to me. And I write extensively about goal setting and strategy because I'm a really big nerd about this, and you can hit me offline and talk about it. But just think about it. If you were an astronaut and you were going to the moon versus going to Mars, in the whole human existence, we still haven't gotten to Mars. Elon's trying to get us there, but we have gotten to the moon. But these are 2 different targets. And because of that, because of these what's, the how is totally different. Mars is a longer trip. We need more efficient fuel sources. We need ways to make the human body be able to withstand this travel, right? So when you get clear on your what, your how starts to define itself. Crash.co, it's a great company that is trying to help job seekers do that. Their tagline is literally burn your resume. They help you create digital resumes. I was actually on their podcast last year. Great groups of folks. I'm not getting paid for this. I just love their product. And they also have free career guides. So if you're saying to yourself, hey, Anthony, I really don't know what I want to do, you could go to a site like them and actually, start exploring sales, software engineering, because if you want to break into tech, especially, you don't have to be an engineer. There's other roles that you can have. Career Explorer is another one. They allow you to filter by title, get some salary information, and also get, education and certifications required. So maybe you need to take a course or go back to school or go to a boot camp to get the job that you want. But now you have data to help you make that decision. Owler and Crunchbase are also two really good sites. These sites allow you to get research and information on companies when you're starting to, define what companies really speak to your values and your priorities. Next, you really want to align your energy. This is one that I've overlooked for the past decade, but take some internal inventory in terms of what brings you joy, right? And what are those activities, people, environments that are just toxic to you that you've experienced, right? And document them. Then as you're starting to look at companies, you can, assess them appropriately. The last piece is you want to take, inventory of your skill set, because you also, I can't tomorrow go get a software engineering job. I don't have that skill set. So you also have to be real with where are you currently? And if there's a gap in your skill set, okay, you can make a plan and be strategic about that. Again, Crash.co has a quiz that you can take that will give you, hey, these are some career paths you might enjoy. Career Explorer has one. It's a lot more in depth than Crash.co, but you don't have to start from scratch. I know in my career for 5 years, I worked in banking and I felt, trapped in banking and I didn't know what to do. And I wish I had some of these resources and this wisdom when I was going through that struggle. Type yes into the chat if you've ever felt stuck into a job, or type yes into the chat if you've ever felt stuck right now where you are. And I say that to say this, which again, focus on step one. Get clear on your priorities and what are your non-negotiables. Get clear on your mission. What's your target? And again, your mission can change. It's not cut in stone, but you got to start somewhere. Start with a really bad draft of your goals and then just continue to edit it along. Look at where your energy is telling you, and this is also a big key. So after you get your big domino in order, which again, I would argue 90% of candidates aren't doing this. They're looking at titles, they're looking at jobs, and they're just blindly applying online. The next is you want to talk about your interviews. So the first thing you want to do is you want to create a success database for yourself. So for me, recruiting and coaching are my skills. So these are some examples of tangible, qualitative things that I've accomplished that prove that I can be a good coach and be a good recruiter. I always keep a tab of these things. Here's an example in terms of marketing and business development. I've wrote blogs. I've been on podcasts. I've hosted panels. And again, maybe you haven't done all of this. This is not to say compare yourself to me. All this is to say is to take internal inventory of yourself and start to document what are those things that you really are proud of. Even if it's something like volunteering and giving back in your community, write those things down because those are clues to what your next job should be. And some questions that you should always be able to ask in any interview, because I ask all of these questions personally, or rather that's the next session. These are questions that you should ask. And next I'm going to go over questions that I ask, but ask, are these the type of skills that are valuable in this role? If somebody asks you a question, you explain, how you've done it, get that feedback. Ask, hey, would this be valuable to the team? Instead of getting off the call, having not asked that question, and then stressing and wondering, oh, did I do good? Did I do bad? It's totally professional to just say, hey, did what I just say resonate with you? Is that in alignment with what you're looking for? And a great question that you should always ask, if you only had one question, you should be saying, are there any gaps in my skill set that you're concerned about? I'd like to address them right now. And again, you might be afraid to ask this question, and I get it. It's very uncomfortable. However, it's totally professional. And good recruiters are going to be able to explain that. And if there are gaps in your skill set, that's okay. But now at least you didn't get an automated rejection email and don't know where you can improve. Type yes into the chat if you've ever gotten a call, not asked this question, and then got a rejection email. I can type yes for that as well. Last piece is specificity rules. I call this the 3x5 trick. Literally go on Amazon and order some index card or get a Post-it and really quantify your resume bullets. You can Google about how to do that. That's a totally separate webinar we won't go into right now. But I got my 3x5 index card together on March 8th through March 10th. I really had to just take a mental health day, take care of myself, meditate, say, hey, Anthony, I love you. You are worthy. This was just a bump in the road. You got this, brother. And also tap into my community to say, hey, I'm struggling. You know, help me out. Speak life into me. But on March 11th, I was back at it. I said, okay, let's get this big domino in order. By March 12th, as you can see, I reached out to Maulam. I got my interview prep with my 3x5 card, and I got on my reverse recruiting. And again, it's easy to say it now because I have the result, but all I can show you is the discipline and the systems and the tactics that actually got me that 21-day job offer. So a little bonus that I'm going to leave you with before we close out here, and I share an opportunity with you to level up and we dive into some Q&A, is you got to practice. Not enough people just spend time in the mirror practicing. So when you start to get these interviews, or if you're already getting interviews, take some time and actually answer some of the questions that I'm going to share with you, and time yourself, record yourself, and then just start to edit it down. And the briefer you can be, the more confident you can be. It's similar to someone yawning, right? You ever been in a room and someone yawns? You yawn too. Confidence is the same. If you exude that confidence by preparing, again, confidence only comes from the preparation. But these are the questions you must be able to answer. So if you practice nothing, practice these. These are exact questions that I ask candidates regardless of what role that I'm interviewing them for. Walk me through your resume. Take 2 minutes, walk me through your resume. Give me an overview of your background. Tell me about yourself. Tell me about one of your most significant professional accomplishments that aligns with our mission, that aligns with this role, right? A lot of recruiters won't ask this, but they're looking for the answer to this question. So if you practice the answer to this question, then you're one step ahead of 90% of candidates. Another one is I ask, because again, I want to know what's this candidate's motivation? What criteria are you using to make your next career decision? Again, this is your big domino, literally, which is why I shared the big domino for you. So now you can ask the question to yourself and start to prioritize and practice that. So we are 50 minutes in. I promised you about an hour, so we're on time. Thank you. I know I went very fast, but now you're in the top 10% of candidates if you just apply everything we did here tonight. You know the mistake that 90% of candidates make, and you're getting it from a recruiter. I'm not just blowing smoke right now. You're also getting the step-by-step process that has worked for myself, that has worked for Jenna, that has worked for Biana, and a lot of people that I helped out at Dev Bootcamp and Outco. And now you know how top performers ace interviews, and they prepare what questions they have to answer, how they do the internal navigation and finding their compass. Jay Shetty, who wrote a book called Think Like a Monk, he has a great quote, and he said, we can only take the world as far as we've traveled internally, right? You can only change the world as much as you can change yourself. So if you do that, again, it takes a few hours, it takes a lot of discipline, but you can land a job in 90 days or less if you apply all of these things. So now that we're at the end of our time, you got to ask yourself, do you want more? I thank you for being here today, but if you don't want to land a referral in the next 14 days, ace your interviews, or win a dream job in the next 90 days and secure brags you never thought possible, then this next section might not be for you. So as the saying goes, you ain't got to go home, but got to dip. So what I'm going to offer you today is an opportunity to level up with Jenna and I's career mastery course. It's the exact resume template I used to land my job in 21 days. The resume playbook, which includes resumes of people I've coached and helped get hired. The Not Your Mama salary negotiation guide. Sorry, mom, but college didn't teach me this. Mom didn't teach me this. And it can help you get a 10 to 25% higher salary again, or a sign-on bonus like Brianna did, and the top 3 mental hacks that you need to stay focused and motivated, because all of these tactics are great, but if your mental health isn't in order and you don't have good practices to, take care of yourself, then you're not going to be able to succeed. And last but not least, you get lifetime access to all of this. Type yes into the chat if this is something you might be interested in. And again, even if you don't opt into the Career Mastery course, I'm from the East Coast. I pride myself on having very tough skin. You will not hurt my feelings. But just for joining and staying to the end of the call, we're going to give you the reverse recruiting templates for free. We're going to give you the 3-step big domino for free. And we're going to give you the Job Search Toolkit for free. Now, again, this is a little bit what the behind the scenes looks like. It's only 90 minutes of self-paced content, so it's not going to take you forever, but we go into goal clarity, right? How do you really get clear on your goals and prioritize that big domino? And we go deeper into salary negotiation. What are the exact templates and scripts that you can use? And again, just for signing up today and only today, you'll get 30 minutes of tailored resume advice from me. Jenna is also happy to help support on that side from an engineering standpoint. You're also going to get the Dream Job Roadmap in addition to some other bonuses and the salary negotiation coaching, which it pays for itself if you can get a $10,000 signing bonus like Brianna. But I like proof. I like receipts. So this is a little bit about Amanda and how she actually landed a job during the pandemic in 90 days or less.
So I love the Career Mastery course, and I found it very beneficial because it definitely teaches you a lot about networking and reverse recruiting, and I really think that people don't know enough about that. Like everybody always says, it's not about what you know, it's about who you know, but nobody actually step by step tells you how to meet these people or go out and put yourself out there so that they can meet you. So I think that was really great, and it gave me a lot of ideas and a lot of information to really be able to reverse recruit and really put myself out there so I can get the job that I wanted.
So what does it cost? Because again, I want to be respectful of your time. I got a college degree. I love the college experience, but college didn't teach me any of this. And I paid nearly $100,000 for it. I've been a career coach. It's not going to cost you what the cost of a career coach would cost you. And it's not even going to cost you what a resume writer would cost you. It's not even, we're quarantined right now, so I'm sure type yes into the chat if you're eating out more than you bargained and put on a few pounds. My hand is raised. I ordered lunch today. So it's not even going to cost you what a year of ordering lunch every week would cost you. It won't even cost you your subscription to Netflix and Hulu. Not saying cancel those. I'm binging Ozark right now on Netflix. I love it, but it's only going to cost you $199. So I'm going to share an opportunity to level up with you right now. Go to these links. You're coming to a fork in the road. It's like the Matrix. The red pill takes you to the course, allows you to secure bags never thought possible. The blue pill allows you to just stay in touch with us. Give us your email. We send out content on a monthly basis. We're also going to be launching a mastermind soon, monthly mastermind to help people level up. But this is your chance to level up, change your life. And now we're going to go into the Q&A portion. Jenna?
Oh, can you keep the slides up there? I'm adding the links to the chat.
Oh, sure. I was going to add those links.
Yeah, I'm almost done.
Cool.
Oh, I don't see him.
I got you.
Oh, there we go. All right, cool.
Need to purchase LinkedIn Premium? Absolutely not.
So, like Anthony said, the red pill is to opt in, so that'll give you access to all of the resources. And Anthony, we had some questions about access to the recording. So, we normally send out a link to this specific recording, so we can send that out to everyone, correct?
Yeah, everybody will get the recording.
Yep, yeah. So all of the resources that we mentioned for free, plus we'll send out a link to the recording as well. Blue pill, that'll take you to register for the Career Mastery course, which
Now the red pill takes you to the Career Mastery course.
Oh, well, okay.
The blue one will allow people to opt in and just stay in touch with us. You know, no attachments or.
Okay. Sorry about that.
No worries.
If you have any, oh, it doesn't let you, I'll fix this. If you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the chat right now. This is the time we're going to spend for Q&A.
Sarah, the red pill is $199, one-time payment, and you get full lifetime access to it. So as we update these things, as we add more content, as we learn new things, we want to impact millions of people with this. So this isn't a course where we're really invested for the long haul. So the $199 gets you everything today, a lot of bonuses like the salary negotiation. And also I think the lifetime access is biggest opportunity. Thank you, Latoya. Thank you, Katya. Thank you, Matt. Any other questions?
Cool. So I hope I added that, so it's a little clear.
Okay. Thank you, Jenna. Appreciate that. Victor.
Go ahead, brother? Victor. You can go ahead and unmute to ask your question if you want. I don't know. Yeah, Victor, if you want to unmute, you can ask your question.
Yeah, at the bottom left corner, you can unmute your mic, Victor. And there's no coupon code. You can just sign up.
Yeah, Victor.
Okay. Want to type it in, Victor, and we'll.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah, type in your question, and we'll make sure we answer it. Go ahead, Diane, if you want to unmute and ask your question.
I'm curious. I mean, this is great. I wasn't expecting this to be so good. First of all,
Thank you.
to be honest. And two is, are there any recruiters for other than tech and, you know, I'm in the education field. I do technology and online and cloud technology for education. I'm just curious.
So you want to get into a recruiter role within that niche, in the cloud technology niche?
Cloud technology in schools or data analytics or something. But I know because I formerly worked in the tech field in law firms, and a recruiter was on my, calling me every day. But now I want to, go to, I have been in the education realm now, and wondering if recruiters are for any kind of position.
Yes, recruiters, their job is to get people hired. So by reaching out to recruiters, you're doing their job for them.
I'm doing their job for them. What do you mean?
Meaning if I'm a recruiter and I'm trying to hire for, give me a title, like what's maybe a type, do you have a title in mind that you're searching for, Diane?
Well, I worked in schools, and I do a lot of, I help kids get online and whatnot. So I did cloud technology and data analytic manager. So,
okay. So if I'm a recruiter and I'm looking for a data analytics manager and you reach out to me, I'm a bad recruiter if I'm not following up with you. Similar to Gloria Yee's example, right? Before I even posted the job, Gloria said, "Hey, I'm a data analyst."
Yeah.
And I interview. So yeah, if you reach out to a recruiter, you're doing them a favor. You're saving them time. It takes a lot of time to hire and find talent.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Did I
Yeah,
answer your question?
I know law firm. Yeah, I know law firm. You know, if I wanted to work in a law firm and on a help desk or anything, I have a slew of people that I can go back to. But I could go back to those same people you're saying. You know, no matter what role
Yeah.
you're in.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Diane. I appreciate the feedback as well and the question.
You're welcome.
So we got Victor's question. We have Danielle, and we have
Victor's asking, how do I land an internship for tech? So this is something that I've done. Just to be clear, there's a difference. So there are internships, which are typically for younger, new grad, fresh out of college. And then there are apprenticeships, which are meant for people who have some working experience, may have had a previous career and are looking to transition or come back. For instance, the apprenticeship I did was a return to work apprenticeship for women who had taken career breaks for various reasons. So I technically didn't fit the mold of everyone else in the apprenticeship, but I wasn't a new grad. So it was kind of the closest fit. My best advice for looking into getting an apprenticeship, number one, connecting with someone at the company and getting a referral, using reverse recruiting, number one. Number two, if you want to work for a company, you can show them not only that you're qualified to work there and be ready day one, but that you're interested in their company by building a project using their APIs. Like if you want to work at Google, build a project integrating Google Maps into some application you built that does a thing, right? You're showing them that number one, you like their products, you like using their APIs, and most importantly, that you know how to use their APIs and read technical documentation, and you're showing your technical skills that you know how to build things. So if you want to be very specific, like if you want to get an internship or an apprenticeship with a company, first of all, I would say if you're not fresh out of college, go for an apprenticeship. Number two, pick 2 or 3. I'd say pick 2 companies that have an apprenticeship, know when they're accepting applications, and have a project where you're specifically using that company's API in your project, so that when you apply with a referral and someone is like, oh, well, show me your skills, you can say, hey, actually, I built this application integrating your API, and here's how I used it.
Thanks, Jenna.
We also have suggestions for mature workers over 50. And can your system work for above 35-year-old candidates? So maybe you can speak a little bit about like the age range at DBC, for instance.
Yeah, I would say I think the average age was like, might have been early 30s or something. But at Dev Bootcamp, I mean, nobody that went through Dev Bootcamp had tech experience. And I've helped and coached some people that are 50 plus, and they did get jobs. And again, I also want to acknowledge there is age discrimination, and it happens, but you can't control that. But what you can control is reverse recruiting, being proactive, doing some of the tactics that we shared today. So to answer your question directly, yes, the system works for everybody. Jenna and I are building our database of testimonials, but we've helped hundreds of people, and we need to catch up on that. But absolutely, it can work for you. But I will acknowledge your concern in asking this question. And yes, age discrimination does exist, and it may happen to you if it hasn't happened already. But I'm a stoic, and stoicism says focus only on what you can control, right?
Well, and to be clear, there are more opportunities than there are people to fill them, even everybody that's actively applying. So you all are a hot commodity. So, I know it doesn't feel like it, but you have your pick of where you want to work. So be very picky. And if you're applying someplace that you can tell they have an issue with your age, that's not someplace you want to work anyway.
Exactly.
And finding a good fit is so key. If you join a company and it is not the right fit, you're going to be doing all this work all over again in 6 months anyway, trying to find somewhere else. And there's no salary, trust me, from experience, probably Anthony, everybody we know, there is no amount of money that any company can pay you as a salary that will make you stay in an unhealthy, miserable work environment.
Yeah. Thank you for adding, Jenna. I see next we have Kyle. He said, and also Sarah and Daniel, did we answer your question? Was that helpful? You can unmute yourself or just type yes. Okay, yes, perfect. Just wanted to make sure before we go on to the next. So Kyle says, how often should you follow up after an interview? Two-part question. And how much can you push above salary range and stay in consideration? First answer, I would say follow up at least 3 times. After the 3rd time, if you hear nothing, just drop it. And again, for people who haven't worked in sales, it takes an average of 5 to 12 messages to get a yes if you're a salesperson. So following up 3 times isn't that bad, right? Because salespeople follow up a lot more often. How much can you push us above salary range? Again, it's going to depend contextually on your experience and what's the average salary. You can use things like PayScale, Glassdoor. Even if you just Google title, average salary, and then your geographic location or the United States, you can get a good range. But again, on your side, you have to make a case. And I go into this in the negotiation module, but you also have to make a case. If you're going to say you should make $10,000 more than the average salary than they offer for this, then you better have reasons why, right? You should be able to say, hey, I did this project, which directly aligns with what you need, company, because I asked you great questions, right? And you told me what you needed. Here's why. And you don't ask for $10,000 more. You make a counter offer. Because hiring is so expensive that people don't want to give out offers and then rescind them because somebody asked for too much money. If anything, they'll say, hey, Kyle, $20,000 doesn't work, but maybe we can give you a $5,000 sign-on bonus. But closed mouths don't get fed. You got to ask. Was that helpful, Kyle?
Yeah, appreciate that. That makes a lot of sense. I've heard different theories, so it's interesting. But yeah, appreciate that, man. Great presentation.
Thank you.
There's a question. When companies claim to hire only the best top candidates, asking for energetic, eager to learn, you know they are hiring only young candidates. So I have a kind of different take. What companies are looking for, more importantly than skills, is a good fit for the company, your values and the way you like to work, how you feel about working on a team, having a growth mindset. Those are things that company is looking for, not necessarily youth. They're looking for people that are excited to learn and grow with the company, regardless of age. I mean, I was not young changing my career. I even at Dev Bootcamp, I was one of the older people that were there. What they're looking for, like I said, is people that really want to learn and are excited to work with other people, because they get a lot of really smart, quote unquote, talented engineers, technical people, and they are terrible working with a team. And those people are the first people to go and get fired because it's too disruptive to the company and productivity for the team.
And I want to add to that, it's just not about somebody who's excited to do the job. It's also somebody who can articulate their value and how they, like, think about it like this. It's getting a job is like dating, right? If you were dating someone or trying to get intimate with someone and all you said was, well, I'm the best recruiter in town. I'm this and I'm that. And you never let that person tell you what's important in a intimate partner. You never let them speak about themselves, right? You just kind of like, I'm looking for this and I'm looking for this and I want a referral and I did. It's like dating. You gotta ask a lot of questions to really define what this person or what this company wants. Then and only then can you position yourself. But if you skip the first step, you don't even know the criteria that you're being graded against. Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, like what is this team looking for? What is the company looking for? What is it that your team needs that I can then search and see what do I have to offer to fill those needs for that spot on that team? What am I bringing to the team and the company that's going to make everything more productive, more beneficial? Like how everything is team first. So what can I give you, right?
And Victor, I know Ani shared angel.co, great source. But also don't overlook Google. Like Google Jobs, which came out, I think 2020, late 2019, like aggregates all the job boards on the internet. So even like Google, like you can really find some really good folks. LinkedIn, like you can filter for, I believe, company size. So you can also, find companies that are smaller. And then Victor said, do you have any group for Meetup around job recruitment in tech?
So this is what we're starting to grow here with the Career Mastery course. So we're building a community here exactly for that purpose. So in opting in and purchasing the course, not only do you have access to those resources and that course material, but we will be having monthly masterminds where we'll be helping you with LinkedIn and all of the pieces that you need to be successful and connect with each other, right? You are all each other's greatest asset. You're all each other's network. So that's what we're building with the Career Mastery course. So it's not just here's the resources. It's okay, here's now a community that we have that we're growing. So Victor, once you get a job at Google, you can now refer Kyle and Diane. Exactly. Right. So that's what we're growing here.
And to add to that, Jenna is going to be, she is a phenomenal friend, remarkable woman. And what she's also is the head of our community. So it's a core value of both of us, but soon she's going to be launching a Slack channel so that, even after this call, you can kind of go in, connect with David, connect with Lauren, follow up with Phoenix and say, hey, how did you think about this? What are you doing? How can I support you? And we really want to create that network effect. So great question. Thank you for, reminding us to address that.
Yeah, so I'm going to repost the links again. You really want to make sure, even if you're not interested in the course today, be sure to opt into the resources. Again, it's free because we're, building a community here for you all to be able to lean on each other for opportunities.
Yeah. And Tanya said that when reaching out, it should be a two-way street. And you talked about you should try to offer something in return. Do you have any suggestions on how to approach this? It's hard to figure out what to offer when you're the one wanting advice. Wow. Very well said. That's my mom, by the way. Everybody type into the chat. Hi, Tanya.
Hi, Tanya.
I'm actually not. I'm a different Tanya.
Oh, no. Not my mom.
Surprise.
Oh, hi, Tanya.
Hi, it's nice to meet you.
All right. I'm going to text my mom later, and she's going to love that story. So I love this question because for a while, I struggled with it. But it's really just ask the question. And it's beautiful because I texted a lot of people that are on this call. And even though they're my friends, even though we've known each other for a while, I always ask people, is there any way I can return the favor? That's it. And then just listen. And two things happen. One is most people don't ask that to anybody. So that's going to catch them off guard, and they're going to feel valued just in and of you offering. Secondly, you might not know what you can offer them, but you don't know until you ask. So maybe they'll say, I need help with this thing, Tanya. And you're like, you know, I did this. I worked on this cool project 3 years ago, and I did exactly that thing. I didn't even know you needed help. You didn't even know I had the skill set. But because I asked and inquired, now we're here. And don't be afraid if they say, you know, I need this, this, and this. If you don't have it, say, okay, I'll have to think about that. But, you know, maybe let me get back to you. Let me see if I have any resources or know anybody that can help you with that. And if you can't, that's okay too. But again, asking the question, hospitality, like 90% of people aren't asking that question. So it kind of just separates you. And again, it makes you memorable. Is that helpful?
Yes, thank you. Just the simple question is a good reminder.
Yeah.
Thanks.
We're going to take one or two more questions because I want to be mindful of everybody's time. You want to read the next one for us, Jenna?
Yes. Just responding to someone on Meetup. Okay. So someone asked, how can we get more info about the Slack channel once it is created? So that is something that we're going to send out with the resources. So it'll be with the follow-up to the event. So let me post this again. So when you opt in with the blue pill here, oops, everyone, with the blue pill here, we'll be sending that out in addition to all the resources, a link for you to join.
Yeah. And also, I see we missed a question. Valerie asks, I've reached out to connections for informational interviews in the hopes of asking for a referral. Instead, my connections often offer advice for my job search and even send me to their competitors. I mean, that's pretty cool. How can I refocus the conversation to get that referral? Valerie, is the question you reached out to company X, instead of a referral to company X, they gave you advice for your job search and also sent you to company YZQ. Is that right?
It's so cinematic and dramatic, and just the emotions of it and everything.
We couldn't quite hear you. Can you repeat that?
Yes, that's right.
Gotcha. Well, I think you're doing the right thing. And if they don't have a referral, then they just might not have a referral. And if they don't have a referral, I would say reach out to somebody else at the company. Do you mind sharing what company it is? Okay.
And I also reiterated what you have. Looks like Maven Clinic, a female healthcare company. I also reiterated, something you said during the presentation, which is if you ask for an opportunity, you'll get advice. If you ask for advice, you'll get an opportunity.
Yeah. And I also think that, I would have a follow-up question, Valerie, like who is the person that gave you this advice? Are they a recruiter? Are they a hiring manager? Are they someone who would be your teammate? Again, those are the three that you want to prioritize. All right, we'll let Valerie follow up. Kyle, are there certain tech companies you've placed with here that are good at retraining and fostering diverse talent? I think Asana's pretty good at that. I'm a fan of, not only I use their product, but big fan of their product and kind of their commitment to diversity. I even have friends that are recruiters there. I think LinkedIn did a really good job because they were one of the first to create apprenticeships. Not the first to create apprenticeships, but like a lot of companies started following that trend. Jenna went through an apprenticeship in a kind of a unique program at IBM. So again, they're out there. And are there any others? Any others that you know, Jenna?
I think Microsoft does a really good job.
Oh yeah, Microsoft Reach.
Microsoft Reach and Twilio's Hatch.
Oh wow, I forgot. See, that's why you got to ask the engineer.
Yeah, yeah, and Hatch and LinkedIn. Is it LinkedIn Reach? Wait, Microsoft.
Microsoft Leap.
Leap.
LinkedIn
I always
Reach.
get them confused. Okay, LinkedIn Reach and Twilio Hatch are both a year. So you have a year of really good salary with benefits, you know, basically guaranteed job for a year unless you do something crazy to get fired. But you know, it's a year of getting paid and really leveling up your skills, which even if it doesn't convert to a full-time hire, you now have a year of experience at a major tech company that you can take anywhere.
Yeah, and I would say just like the public market, those are very popular because everything Jenna says, a lot of people want it. So again, reverse recruit, do things like use crash.co, create a digital resume, create some type of video content, and you can help yourself stand out. So we're going to take one more question and call it a night. Any others before we let you go?
Let's see. Valerie said she was talking with a fellow college alumni, not directly related to hiring.
Yeah. So you got to prioritize the right people within the organization. Cover letter, what do you recommend? I don't read them.
Here's the thing. I know cover letters are like a very like old school businessy, like good practice, you need to do it kind of thing. But the truth is, if you're applying to jobs online, the likelihood of someone reading them is slim to none. I mean, unless it's for like maybe like some sort of higher level leadership or executive type position, or apprenticeships sometimes will ask you to include a cover letter, but that's because they are taking less candidates and creating a cohort, and they're looking, to really make sure to vet their candidates a little bit more. But unless you're doing like a special type of program, honestly, I feel like they're just not a good use of your time. And Anthony, like you've said before, recruiters spend an average of 6 seconds looking at your resume, so they're probably not going to sit and read through your cover letter.
Yeah, and to add to that, just think about if you're on Yelp and you're looking for a taco, or you're on Airbnb and looking for a place, or you're on Amazon and you want to order a book. Are you reading cover letters? Are you reading blocks of text to make your decision? No, you're reading the reviews. You're looking at the images, right? You're looking at videos. You're looking at testimonials, right? We all purchase products in this way, right? Hiring is an investment. Costs a lot of money. Costs a lot of money to give somebody a salary and healthcare and all these things. And it's also very difficult. So the less barriers you can add in terms of a lot of text, like your resume and again, people still use resumes, so apply with that. But cover letter, I mean, I haven't hired somebody or interviewed somebody because I read their cover letter and I was like, I gotta interview Kyle. I didn't mean to pick on you, Kyle, but you know what I mean? Like I've never read a cover letter and I was like, okay, we're doing this.
Oh, this is a good question. Maybe this can be our last question. What about job application questions? Do recruiters read those responses? Also, any tips for getting past applicant tracking systems when applying to jobs online?
Got it. So I also want to answer Victor's question really quick. I love how you're contributing to the community, Victor. Do you need to change your resume every time? It depends. Again, you got to be aligned with the job. I would say maybe have 2 to 3 different versions of your resume, and that's good enough. You don't need a new resume for every single job you apply to. And then back to Ani. Am I pronouncing your name correctly? Is it Annie or Ani? Got it. Job at. So I absolutely, and if you look at a company called Zapier, they're pretty good. I love their career page, but they have like probably 5 or 6 questions in some of their jobs. And I read all of those because that's helping me determine somebody's motivation. If somebody put NA in my question box and they didn't even take the time to answer it, then I'm probably not going to consider them. And again, we don't include 10 questions. I'm probably asking 2, maybe 3 questions that relate to the job. So I absolutely read that. I'm proud. People at Google probably aren't reading it because they're getting hundreds of thousands of, applications a year. And then the other one is the applicant track. How do we get past the ATS? Reverse recruit. We got to get some shirts, Jenna, that say reverse recruit. And then I can just be like,
We can do that. Look, we'll get some,
swag.
Yeah, we'll start getting some swag printed up so that once we are able to do some stuff in person, we can get some swag out.
And then we got CC. How would you approach the dynamics of job searching while building a business? Should this be something we're transparent about on our resume? I would say it depends. Again, if that, like for me, for example, like I wanted to be a recruiter at Wobot Health. I'm also a coach and coach candidates on the side, or coach candidates to find jobs like I'm doing right now. That was a benefit to them. Now, if I'm building a online e-commerce store nights and weekends, I'm not going to tell them that. It has no value to them really, right? But if I'm saying I'm a coach, it's like, well, if you're a recruiter, you got to be able to negotiate with people. You got to be able to communicate effectively. And a lot of times, if you're a coach, you can do that. So I would say it depends, and I would only do it if it kind of aligns and added value to the company. If you don't know, try to get a referral and ask. But kudos to you. I'm an entrepreneur at heart. I respect that. What business are you building? If you don't mind me asking while we go on to the next question. Do you have anything to add there, Jenna?
Yeah, so what I was going to add is if you're, unless what you're doing is possibly a potential conflict of interest or a violation of your company's, business practices policies, it's really not something that you need to bring up at work. And honestly, it's really not anybody's business. Like, when you're at work, you don't, you're not compelled to tell everybody what you do with your time outside of work. Like that's your business. So that's what I would say, unless you have questions about, like I said, whether there's something that potentially could be a conflict of interest. But I work with a lot of people at IBM that are entrepreneurs that have created companies, they've been acquired, they've sold them, and it has nothing to do with their job, and they don't even need to share about it. Like I said, unless it's in violation with business practices, that's your business.
Yeah, thanks, Jenna. And then
answering what is your required salary? I know that happens a lot here in the Midwest, like a lot. That's like the first thing they ask you. It's a business, an old business mindset overflowing into tech.
Yeah, I would say for that, 2 things. One, you want to redirect that conversation. What I would say is, listen, that's a great question. However, I'm still determining, if this is a mutually beneficial fit for us. And so are you, right? I would rather prioritize making sure the company, the role, and your mission align with my values and vice versa than speaking about salary. And if they ask you it again, you could say 2 things. One, you could say, well, depending on the title of the role, you could say, well, I'm interviewing for similar roles with similar titles at similar companies. And just based on a quick Google search, the average salary, given my experience, because I've done my research, is XYZ. Again, my priority is making sure I'm aligned and can add value to your team. I'm less worried about the money, and we can table that conversation. But if they force you to show your hand, hey, just a quick Google search told me that this is the range within the United States. And I trust that you would compensate me fairly.
Mhm.
And I trust that your offer would be within market range. Is that fair, recruiter?
Victor had a question about at Indeed, there's this assessment I need to do. Are the assessments really essential? So here's my response to that. IBM has an assessment you need to do. It's more of a gauging where you're at. A lot of it is like short math problems, like worded math problems for you to solve. Another one is like what are the next 3 numbers in this pattern? So it's kind of just gauging your problem solving skills. It's not really anything to worry about. But it is something that for some companies, I've only seen it, well, 2 now, maybe 3, where it's required in order to hire you. So like, for instance, when I was transitioning into a full-time role, my manager was like, hey, you got to take this assessment, get it done right away so they can get you your offer. So if they're saying, here's this assessment we need you to do, you want to do it as quickly as possible, because that's kind of what they need to give you an offer. Like that's what they need to move to the next step with you. So that's a good sign. Like they want to move forward with you.
Yeah. And Victor, I would also challenge you. I know you're a new grad, you're in your last year of school, I heard. Also love your energy. He was like, oh, it's a Q&A? I got questions. Got tons of questions. I love it. But I mean, 2 things. I would probably try to use Upwork and be trying to get some freelance gigs where you're building somebody's website or helping them. And you could be making money to get experience and applying to jobs. And I would also be trying to prioritize smaller companies. Sometimes I just saw somebody post in my internal network, they need a marketing coordinator. They got a team of like 5 and are like open to somebody who's, kind of a new grad who might have had some experience with digital, right? Like, I just think with bigger companies, there's a big barrier to entry, which is hundreds of thousands of people are applying to them. So it's hard to break through that noise. So I would try to use Upwork, get some freelance work, get some experience under your belt, put some money in your pocket, and all those freelance projects, you can put on your resume.
And more importantly, your portfolio.
Exactly. Wow, everybody wants to hear about Alt MBA.
Yeah.
All right, I'll answer the Alt MBA question and then I'll let you all go. So Alt MBA is a program I did in 2017 with Seth Godin, who's a serial entrepreneur, New York Times bestselling author. And it was a 30-day program where I did 14 projects in less than 4 weeks. And all of those projects were focused on helping you become a better leader, helping you learn how to communicate effectively, and also helping you become a better coach. So through that, I got to work on a bunch of, again, I don't want to give away because like that's their secret sauce. They don't talk about what the project are specifically. But there might be a project like, hey, create a marketing campaign for this. And not everybody has experience in marketing, right? So you kind of have to figure it out with your teammates. So they kind of give you very ambiguous challenges and let you just figure it out on your own. And then afterwards, you have a coach that kind of facilitates like, okay, what was your challenge? How can we work through this? So yeah, phenomenal program. It's probably cost 2x more than it did when I joined because their community like tripled. But yeah, great program for anybody who wants to level up. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Victor, Kyle, Diane, all of everyone else who, added a lot of value, shared a lot of questions. And again, for staying this long, staying to the very end, we're going to follow up before the end of the week, give you all the resources. And if you signed up for the course, which I hope you did, I'll see you on the other side. Book recommendations, reach out to me on LinkedIn, Victor. I got you.
Yeah, make sure you follow us on LinkedIn. And like we said, go ahead and opt in with the link that I that I shared, the blue pill there, so that we can make sure we get all the resources and the recording out to you.
Thank you, man. That was great advice. Gotta get you on Clubhouse. We use this.
Yeah, most definitely. Thank you, Kyle.
All right. Thank you all so much for coming, and we look forward to connecting with you all soon. I'm going to leave the information up for a few minutes to make sure you all can get it okay.
Jenna, we gotta get Victor some swag, man.
I know.
Thanks, CC.
Once we get everything redesigned and rebranded, we'll get some stuff printed.
Yeah, love the energy. Great questions tonight.
And we have great printing stores here, so that'll be real easy to do.
Oh.
Like American Apparel quality shirts.
Right. Did you all have any questions about the course or the community?
Yep, feel free to, so when you opt in with your email, we're going to be sending that out with all the resources tomorrow. So we got to upload the video recording first for you, and then we'll be able to share that tomorrow with a link in the email with all the resources.
Yes, CC. As long as you opt in to the blue pill, you get all of this.
I don't know about you, but I'm having a great time over here with this music. So this is my jam. This is what gets me in the mood before a virtual event.
And Jenna, is there a way, like, as the recording is rendering, to just load it up to YouTube, or is that like two separate steps?
Oh no, I can upload it to YouTube.